What's up, everybody? Eric here with another EWE Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Shazam! Fury of the Gods. But before we get into that, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you thought about the movie or what you thought about my thoughts on the movie. Alright guys, so let's get started with some information about this. But again, real quick, this is a spoiler-free review, so don't worry about spoilers on this. We're just going to be talking about things, topics of the movie, but not necessarily what's in it directly. Alright, so let's start with some release information. So this movie came out on March 17, 2023. The directors for this movie are Chris Morgan and Henry Gayden. The cast for this movie is Zachary Levi, Jack Dylan Grazer, Djimon Hounsou, Lucy Liu, Rachel Zegler, and Helen Mirren. There's also a bunch of bigger casts for this, guys. I'm just going with like the main people that I saw actually getting the most screen time. Sorry about that, just not enough places to put everyone on the board. Alright, this movie has a runtime of 130 minutes. The plot is basically Billy Batson and his family are, still doing their superhero thing. They're not particularly good at it, but they're trying. But out of nowhere, this new enemy approaches that wants to attack them. They have a grudge against the Shazam family, has stuff to do with what the wizard did before them. But at the same time, Billy's having some identity crisis issues because of things going on in his life. And he's trying to make sure to keep his family together, but everyone's kind of trying to do their own thing, and he's kind of like afraid. So there's some issues there, but the overall plot, it's pretty simple. Bad guys come in, there's family trouble, and you get the family stuff together just to be able to go fight these enemies. So, yeah. Alright, so let's go on to my spoiler-free thoughts on this movie. Let's start off by me saying that I really enjoyed this movie. However, the ending did not work for me. Well, part of the ending did not work for me, but we'll come back to that later. So, I thought the chemistry with everyone in this movie was actually really good. I actually felt like, oh, you guys have this like familiar bond and actually like care for the family. And it was actually really good. And some of the comedy aspects definitely worked with some of the actors. I thought some of them had better comedic timing than others. I would say Grazer had like great comedic timing. I was actually rooting for him a lot. But actually, speaking about Grazer, and let's talk about Zachary Levi as well. So, Zachary Levi and Asher Angel both played Billy Batson in this movie. However, it's very noticeable that one of the actors is getting way more screen time than the other playing the character. The same thing happened with Grazer and Adam Brody. I'd actually say that each one, it was like, okay, the main person to play it got like 80% and the other person got like 20%. And it's like, it's very noticeable, guys, if you watch this movie. And it seemed to me like Grazer was getting a lot of the screen time for his version of it because he was actually getting like some plot that actually worked more with the younger version of him than the older looking one. So that one made sense to me. And I would kind of say with Billy, I think you could have used more of Angel Asher, or Asher. Sorry, I forgot his name for a second. You could have used more of him, but they didn't really want to put him in there. I don't know why. It was weird for me how they actually did it. But in the end, I think they made the right choice because they knew who were the people that were going to give in their more star power, or not star power, but who were the ones that were having like really good performances, and they actually did give both of them their shot. So that worked for me, and I thought that was really cool to see their dynamic. Because, I mean, they did have that dynamic in the first movie. So it's like those actors already have good chemistry. Where I'd say Brody didn't show up till the end of one. So he didn't really get as much time with them in the first movie. Yeah, going on with that, I really enjoyed a lot of the action sequences in this movie. They worked really well for me. Like, they fought a freaking dragon. That's pretty cool. So that was really cool. The fights I really enjoyed. I wish maybe they had a little bit more action, and then the plot. All right, so those are my positives. I really enjoyed the action of the movie. I thought those things that were here, there were like sweet moments. There was moments where I was like, oh my god, I gotta hold in the tears because there was like some very sweet and heartfelt moments. Moving on now to the things I didn't enjoy about this movie, and we'll get to the big thing later. But one thing that was weird is, so the actress that plays Mary, I don't have her name in front of me. Sorry, guys. She plays both the normal version and the super version. She's not wearing any glasses. So at least with Superman, they say, oh, he's wearing glasses. The girl's not wearing anything different. So how come no one can tell who she is? That's one, to me, it's like, everyone should know who she is. She looks exactly the same both ways. Alright, so moving on to another negative. The villains in this movie, they didn't really work for me. they didn't seem like they really had a cohesive plan of what to do. They were kind of like at odds with each other. And I think that like weakened me thinking like, oh, they're all that great. It just did not work for me. I was like, you guys are kind of like grasping at straws here a little bit, guys. And yeah, I had some issues with it. All right, so let's move on to my big issue with this movie. So there's a certain point in the end of the movie, like right close to the end, where I was like, this movie is really good. I'm like, oh, I'm really invested. And then there's an ex machina out of nowhere. And then when I say ex machina, I mean like something random happens where it's like, this didn't go with any of the rest of the plot of the movie, but somehow this happens. And I think they wrote themselves into a corner and had no idea how to adjust for it. I think I might make a second video just to talk about that, because I thought this was really bad for them to do. And I hope no other superhero movie does this, because if they do, this is how you're going to kill superhero movies. You can't do this. It actually worsened the score for me for this movie, because I can't stop thinking about that part of it. And to me, it's like, yeah, this is not a great thing. All right, so let's move on now to my score. And I even wrote in my notes, this is going to be an in-video decision of what I decide to give it, because I was in between a 6 and a 7 the entire time. And I'm actually going to go down to the 6. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. Just because of that ending. I want to say if that ending wasn't there and they would have planned it out better, I would have given this a 7. But the way that happened, I can't justify it. It's one of those things where I'm like, this is a huge... If I was doing cinema sins, this would have gotten like a million sins, because it was just, no, you can't do that. But let's now, would I recommend the movie? I'd still recommend it, because the essence in here is still like a good, but that ending kind of ruins it. So I'm like, up to that point, I'd say like, yeah, you were good. This is a good popcorn flick. You're gonna have like some emotional moments. I actually did enjoy it a lot. So I actually do recommend you watch it. My one caveat is that it is kind of long. 130 minutes, that's 2 hours. That's a little bit too long. And I think they could have trimmed a lot of the fat out of this movie. Like, there was so much of this that was just like, do you really need all of that? Can you not shorten this up? Some parts just did not work for me, guys. Where I'm like, can you bring this down to like, I think you can easily have taken out like 20 minutes out of this movie, and you still got the same story. Maybe straighten up some stuff with the villains, and I think it would have gone down to like an hour and 110 minutes, and I think this would have been a lot better. But yeah, guys, those are my thoughts. Like I said, it's a 6 out of 10, but it's like a good 6, not a good, but it's a better 6 out of 10 than some of my other ones. I'd still recommend this. Some other 6 out of 10s I wouldn't. This one I'd recommend, just because it was just the ending that I think ruined it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this movie, guys. So let's move on now to my next reviews that I'm gonna take out. So I need to get 2 Star Trek Picard reviews out. I didn't do last week's episode, and this episode just came out. So I need to get both those reviews out. I'm gonna try and get them out as soon as possible. Probably gonna do a double video day. And I'm also gonna get the Last of Us Season 1 review. I already have each individual episode reviewed. Please go check those videos out. I really enjoyed the series. I'll let you guys know what that review should be out either Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, guys, those are what's coming up. Next week, the plan at the moment is to go watch John Wick 4, and I am so excited. RIP to Lance Reddick. We just found out today that he passed away, and that movie's going to be harder to watch now because of knowing that information, because I really enjoyed all of his work. All right, guys, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys thought about the movie. Did that ending ruin it for you? Because for me, I feel like that's the big thing. That ending shouldn't have been there. They should have done something else. But yeah, guys, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.